Hello, my ghouls and fools. MC here today. Today, guys, I will be reacting to three scary stories, and this will be my final scary video. Well, not true, but it's Halloween, so let's just pretend it's the final one. So that being said, let's begin, shall we, guys? Oops.
My name is Isaac. I'm from Australia, and this is a scary story I'd like to tell you. One day when I was in my early teens, a friend came over for a sleepover during school holidays. We decided to do some ding-dong ditching, which is going up to houses and knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell and then running off or hiding, since that's what kids our age got up to back.
You wanna know something funny? I never did that as a kid. I didn't know what ding dong ditching was until a friend told me. I was like, I don't think I will ever do that because one, I feel like that's kind of rude. Second, I don't see the point of it. I don't know. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you ever did that as a kid.
Then, after ding-dong ditching a few houses, we came up to an old, shabby-looking house at the top of a small hill. There was a driveway leading up to the house with a gray patrol SUV out front. Of course, it was my turn to go, so I walked up and looked for the door. Keep in mind, there were a lot of bushes out front, so I had to search for the door. I went on one side in front of the car and looked, but it turned out to be the side gate, which was open. I wasn't a real bad kid, so I didn't go in at all. But right as I turned around to go back down the driveway, a red, old, and sporty car pulled up and drove up the driveway and saw me. The person driving it was about 20 or so, and in the passenger seat was a girl who was about the same age. Of course, he immediately got out of his car and walked up to me and started asking what I was doing and yelling at me. I was getting scared, thinking he was going to beat me up. I looked for my friend, but I saw him running away. I told him what we were doing and that I meant no harm, and he let me off with a warning. But this isn't where the story ends. A different day, maybe.
That's so messed up. You left your friend behind. I guess what does the one word say? Yeah, I don't know what the word is. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was gonna try to say.
About a week later, I was riding my bike down near a park when I saw the red car again. I rode right past it, so I knew they saw me too. I rode away as fast as I could, but it chased me. I eventually got to the end of the road and went onto a path that led to a big loop around the lake that would lead back to the main road. While I was riding around the loop, I looked across the lake and saw the car sitting there, waiting for me at the exit. I panicked and quickly looked in the bushes and found a path made by other bike riders, so I went down there. I ended up getting home safely and didn't tell my parents.
Oh my
But later
God.
that evening, things took a turn for the worse. I was sitting in my room playing video games when all of a sudden I heard the loud engine of the car as it was pulling into our driveway. I quickly ran to the front door and looked through the front gate, and I saw the driver get out of the car. It was the same person who I saw at the park, and the passenger wasn't the girl. This time it was another guy who looked about the same age as the other. I told my parents to come out, and when they saw them, my mom called the cops. There was a gate in front of the door at my house, which we were looking at them through, and they walked right up to it. To my surprise, one of the men took out a metal pipe and started hitting the gate with full force.
Oh God.
I screamed and locked the door. After 1 minute of continuous hitting, we heard the gate fly open. The only thing left for them to break before getting in was the old wooden door, which could be opened with just a kick. Just then, we heard police sirens and people yelling. After it all died down, we came out and saw the two men being arrested, and the look he gave me sent chills down my body. We later found out that the men were on drugs, and the driver had a gun and was planning to kill me. I've never been ding-dong ditching since.
I thought they were gonna murder the kid because I thought they were doing something like you know, like in the beginning, the girl in the front seat. I thought like maybe they like kill her or somewhat. I'm not sure. I thought that was gonna be the case, but I guess my theory is wrong. Let's continue, shall we?
This is a story about an incident that I caused when I was a reckless teenager, and because of it, I still carry a terrible trauma with me. If I hadn't acted so foolishly back then, my life would have gone smoothly. I cannot help but recall that nightmare-like incident, even if I don't want to keep reliving it. It must have been about 15 years ago. I was around 17. At that time, my routine after school was to go to the arcade with my friends. On the day of the incident, I was happily playing a game called Tekken with my friends at the arcade, but there was also a man in his 30s playing the same game. I ended up competing with him at Tekken. At that time, I was known to be very good at Tekken. There was no one in the neighborhood who could beat me. As expected, the man was completely defeated by me, and I could see him gritting his teeth in anger. He kept challenging
That
me,
looks
and I
scary.
kept winning. Then, he suddenly started to bang his fists on the monitor and roared.
Listen, let me say this. If you know a person is getting angry and he's getting upset, don't try to beat them. Just let them win and just let over. I don't care if anyone who has a big ego, like, no, I'm not gonna let the person win, even they're angry. I'd rather be safe to let the person win than over something petty.
And he yelled at me. Do you want to fight me in real life instead of playing a game? But I burst out laughing, because he was clearly a big man in his 30s, but his voice sounded like a child's. Then he suddenly grabbed me by the collar, as if he was more angry at my laughter. I was flustered by his aggression, and my friends who were watching started trying to stop him. Then, the man's expression suddenly became very stern, and the sound of his voice did a 180. He said in a very deep, rumbling, low voice,
Are you the one who made Max mad?
I swallowed hard,
Oh, no.
confused by the sudden change in his demeanor. At that moment, I thought this man was mentally ill, and I had a gut feeling that something was wrong. I was scared because he was a big man. When I apologized, the man's eyes and expression suddenly changed to gentleness again.
No, I don't like this. Where is an adult? Where is adults when you need them the most? Like, you have a crazy man attacking a teenager or a kid. Like, where's the adult in this video?
Let go of my collar and said, I'm sorry, my friends are too hot-tempered. I'll stop them, so please go. Then he continued to mutter to himself, his voice changing every few seconds.
I'm angry.
Don't be angry. I'm going to kill that guy.
No, please don't do that.
Let's kill him.
No, just hit him a few times.
Should I hit him?
No, you stay still.
I still can't forget the chill running down my
Leave! Why
spine
are
as
you
I watched
standing
the scene in
there?
front of me. I was about to leave the arcade when the man suddenly shouted,
Where are you going, you punk? Max keeps crying because of you. Let's play another round of Tekken.
When I turned around in surprise, the man was running towards me with tears in his eyes. I screamed, and the man threw himself at me and swung his fist. I barely managed to avoid it, but he didn't stop. Some of my friends ran over and started fighting with the guy, and I heard someone calling the police. I should have run away then, but I was too young and made a bad call. I was angry and punched him back. He fell back after being hit by my punch, and he seemed to be unconscious for a moment. After a moment, he opened his eyes and started shouting in an unrecognizable language. Then he suddenly jumped at my friend Frank and pushed him. Frank fell back, hitting his head on the game's console and falling to the floor. I could see blood flowing from his head. I was terrified and froze in place. Then the guy suddenly shouted in a woman's voice,
Everyone, please stop. Do you want to go to jail again?
Then he pointed at me again and said in a deep, manly voice,
We have to kill him. He made Max mad. Max is still crying.
Then he shouted something in Chinese and looked around wildly. It seemed like he was looking for something. I was scared and stuck next to my friends. Then he shouted again in a deep, manly voice.
Xia Hao is looking for a knife right now. He said he'll cut you up. This guy used to run a butcher shop. Do you know what I mean?
No, I
There
don't
are
like.
7 of us. Do you think you can beat us?
You mean seven different personality? There we go. I was trying to say it, but I couldn't say it properly. So this man has like different personality, and I don't like this. I think I regret it. Let's just continue.
After a while, the police arrived, and the man's eyes and facial expressions suddenly became softer, and he spoke to the police in a very kind voice. The police looked at the man and said he seemed like a good person, and asked us if he really had been violent, and they had a hard time believing it. However, due to the testimonies of many witnesses, the guy was eventually arrested. I also went to the police station for questioning, and there the guy continued behaving like a nice person in front of the police. I couldn't tell if it was just an act or if the man was being genuine. Anyway, after that day, I never went to the arcade again and stopped playing games completely. And I suffered terrible trauma from the stress of the situation and the guilt of what happened to my friend. What on earth was that man's true identity? Were all of them true?
Ooh, I don't like to imagine that. Well, I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please guys like, comment down below, subscribe, and hit that notification bell when I post another video. That being said, this is MC, signing out. Bye guys. And look forward for the Halloween special video.